Hi, hello. Well, we're living through a storm at the moment. Storm Ashley is here and it's quite rough out there. Lots of trees are blowing crazily in the wind and our two white sofa benches have been knocked down by the wind. It's very strong. So we're just going to stay at home today, stay at home and relax, sit by the fire and do what most people do on a Sunday afternoon, which is nothing. Although I am knitting, I'm making the second sock to go with this one that I'm making for my grandson. So I'm just casting on. And I'm thinking about Samhain because it's coming up in about 10 or 11 days, or in 2 weeks if you go by the old calendar. So I've got a lot on my mind about Samhain preparations, the ancestors, and thinking about those who've gone on before me. And we were lucky that when we did our trip a couple of weeks ago, we went to a couple of ancient sites and did some communing with the ancestors while we were there, which was really lovely. It really made me feel attached and grounded, and I could sense that kind of line of continuity coming from them through me and knowing there are others going on. So it was a really positive experience. It was a lovely spiritual experience as well. And what we did is we went to Carrickeel Neolithic Cemetery, and then we went to Maeve's Cairn at Knockree in County Sligo. So this is the path to Carrickeel Cemetery. Well, one of the paths. There's about 14 or 15 cairns dotted around these mountain tops, and we are going to visit 3 of them. And each cairn contains a passage tomb, and these are almost 6,000 years old. So they are actually older than Newgrange, which is, when you look at the way they're crossing the country, Newgrange was the one of the final ones. So they would have honed their techniques in building. And sometimes in these lonely places we come across hawthorn trees, which really add to the magical and mystical atmosphere. This is a bit of a surprise adventure. We didn't know we were coming here. We're just touring around. And so I don't have any offerings to bring, so I'm not going to go into these tombs. I think it would be disrespectful to do that. Even though the remains are long gone, energetically, this is a building that housed somebody after death. I think I'm here to pay respects and not to intrude. this was my favourite place. Here we've got all these big stones that look like benches or thrones for giants. They actually look hand-carved even. And of course the ubiquitous hawthorn tree, a portal to the other realm, a magical and sacred tree of the Sidhe. What else would you expect at a place like this? So after our magical mystical day in Carrock-Heel, it's a beautiful bright sunny day, the day we went to Maeve's Cairn, and the views are absolutely majestic all across the countryside. I actually turned my ankle yesterday, so we're going up the most accessible route to the top of this hill, which is Knocknaree. It could be the Hill of the Queen, the Hill of the King, it could be the Hill of Stripes, it could be the Hill of the Moon. There are many possible translations. But climbing up here is going back to our roots. It's going back through history. You see, on the slopes of this hill, there are various archaeological sites. There are other graves. There are the remains of Neolithic huts. And more recently, the remains of a deserted famine village. Now, Maeve is a sovereign queen of Connacht, and she is reputedly buried here in this giant cairn, which has never been excavated, I'm glad to say. And according to legend, she is standing up in her grave, as was the tradition, but she's facing north with her spear in her hand, protecting Connacht from any future invasion by the Ulstermen. And like Carrock-Heel, this cairn is almost 6,000 years old. It actually predates Maeve, but nevertheless it makes a great story. To paraphrase John O'Donoghue, our ancestors came from the earth, they depended on the earth for everything, and then they returned back to the earth, as we all must do. And so we retrace our steps back through history, back to our present time, and just feeling so grateful that we have this deep connection to our Mother Earth. So I hope you enjoyed that little visit up to the ancestors in Carrickeel and Maeve's Cairn. The storm seems to have moved on. It's a few hours later here, and I've moved on to a book now I'm reading. Now, we were supposed to get our kittens today, but because of the storm we haven't been able to go out. So we're going for them tomorrow, and you will meet them next week. And so for the next week now, I'm going to be making my Christmas cake. I'm going to be preparing for Samhain, and I hope you also have a very fulfilling week. And I hope the weather is good where you are, and hopefully when we go outside tomorrow there won't be too much damage. So I'm going to enjoy this Sunday evening now, and see you next week. Bye. I hope you enjoyed today's film. If you did, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And have a look at the website danusirishherbgarden.com for more information about us and about the herbal medicine courses I offer and the Wise Woman Way training. And if you go to the shop, you can find the books, the weed handbooks and other herbal goodies. And remember, we put a new film out every Sunday. So looking forward to seeing you next week.